Sometimes when I do workshops, people get really weird when I ask them what they want. It's super interesting because almost everyone knows what they don't want. If you think about it, how much time do you actually spend thinking about what you want? Well, I actually already know a little bit about what you do want. You ready? You want to know what it is? It's more money. Oh no, especially for Christian entrepreneurs, that's a dirty word. We don't want to admit that we want more money, although we spend 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day trying to get more of it. Zig Ziglar said it best. He said that money isn't everything, but it's very similar to air. In fact, when you don't have enough of it, it's the only thing you can think about because you're suffocating trying to get money. So here's the deal. I'll go do workshops and I'll ask people, what do you want? And they'll tell me things like, I want a vacation house. I want to spend more time with my wife. I want to give to charity. I want to pay cash for my children's college. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want a hot tub. I want a jet ski. Whatever it is, everybody actually wants the same thing. You see, all of those things I just listed are only one thing. It's money. If you want to be generous, you have to have money. If you want a second home, you have to have money. If you want to pay cash for anything, you have to have money. Money is the thing, so stop being weird about admitting it. And in this video, I'm going to help you understand 3 little-known ways to help you make a lot more money. Are you ready? The first way is by becoming an asymmetrical thinker. Now, that sounds like a fancy term, but it's pretty simple. You see, you got to understand that most people wander through life like NPCs, non-player characters, right, in a video game. They're like on autopilot, sleepwalking through life, and they approach everything linear. They can only see what's in front of them. All asymmetrical thinking is when you look at situations from the side, not just head on. Don't just see the obvious, you see the nuance of situations and opportunities. For example, most people think that Tesla is a car company, but asymmetrical thinkers understand that Tesla is actually a battery company that just happens to sell cars. Did you know there's a weird little part in the back of your brain called the reticular activating system? I know it's kind of nerdy, but it's really interesting. It's a part of your brain that helps you notice things or not notice things. It's kind of like this survival mechanism in your head. You ever notice that if you bought a yellow Volkswagen Bug as a car, okay, like this little yellow Volkswagen Bug right here, if you buy one of those, you'll start noticing yellow Volkswagen Bugs everywhere. The thing is they were always there, but you didn't notice them because your brain didn't think it was relevant for you to see it. The same thing is true with opportunities. Some people literally can't see opportunities. They're surrounded by opportunities, but it's invisible to them. It's like they're living in the Matrix. That's what I mean when I say they're NPCs sleepwalking through life. There could be opportunities to make money, opportunities to get into business, to help people, to create value, to invent things, to fix things, to improve things. We're all drowning in possible opportunities, but most people can't see it because they're not asymmetrical thinkers. So how do you activate your reticular activating system and get it working for you instead of working against you? Well, one of the ways you do it is by making a conscious decision to start looking for opportunities. If you think about it, they're everywhere. What is the low-hanging fruit in your business right now where you could extract more money? If you were to slow down and push pause for 2 seconds and think creatively, instead of just reacting to everything, you were proactive with different little things in your business, how much more money could you make? What would happen if you could increase your close rate by 8%? What would happen if you increased the amount of referrals and reviews and social proof and testimonials that you got by 15%? What would happen if people booked their next service with you, if you have a service business, twice a year instead of 1 time per year? That means you increased frequency. You see, this is low-hanging fruit stuff. What would happen if you increased the average ticket of your services because you spent 2 hours thinking through your pricing and the bundles and the packages that you offer and what those packages are called, and you got more creative and focused on the nuance? What would happen? What would happen? I'll tell you what would happen. You would make more money because now you're an asymmetrical thinker. The second little-known way to make a lot more money is to stop setting goals. Josh, what are you talking about? You can't stop setting goals. Yes, of course you can. Stop setting the goals the way that you're setting the goals right now. What I'm suggesting is that you start setting derivative goals. What the heck is a derivative goal? It's a goal that leads to the goal. Instead of saying, I want to make $1 million, you set the goal to do the thing that's going to automatically lead to the $1 million. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Instead of saying, I'm going to make $1 million, which is this huge future-based thing that's so big you can't wrap your head around it, instead you make the goal the set of 3 to 5 behaviors that you need to change that you know on a large enough time horizon that will automatically yield you the $1 million. There's a great book called Atomic Habits. You should read it. You should go buy it. Go click and buy it. It's not my book. I don't get any money for it, but you should totally buy it. One of the interesting points he makes is this idea of setting derivative goals. Instead of making your goal to go to the gym and work out, you make your goal to pack your gym bag and put it in your car. Or you make your goal to go sit in your car next to your gym bag at 6 a.m. in the morning every morning. And let's say you're in the car, the gym bag's next to you, and you decide, I don't want to go to the gym. That's okay because you still accomplished your goal by getting in the car in the first place. But we both know the chances are your shoes are on, you're already kind of got your sleepy eyes out, you're sitting in the car next to the gym bag, you're probably going to go to the gym. People set goals that are too big and that causes overwhelm and frustration. Instead, set derivative behavior-based goals. Have you ever thought about the fact that obese people don't have an information problem as much as they have a behavior problem? Tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong. I highly doubt that really morbidly obese people are confused on if they should eat birthday cake for breakfast. I think we both know you shouldn't eat birthday cake for breakfast. Look, I love birthday cake as much as the next guy, but it's not a breakfast food, right? It's not that they don't know to not, pound a bag of M&Ms and drink 15 cans of soda a day. They know that. The problem isn't on the information, it's on the behavior. It's the same thing is true with small business owners. A lot of the answers on how to fix your business, you already know what they are in your head, but you can't get out of your negative inertia and the negative momentum you have from reacting to all the stimulus, and you're overwhelmed and you're too close to it and you can't see the forest through the trees, and so you get stuck. So ask yourself, what type of derivative goals could you set? Could you get up a little bit earlier for 7 days in a row? Could you be more productive? Could you go to bed a little bit earlier? It doesn't directly lead to money, but it indirectly leads to lots of money. Could you follow up with more of your prospects? Could you have more touches on how many times you follow up with prospects? Could you rewrite the emails sequences that you send out to customers to make them more clever and more human and more funny? Could you exercise a little bit each day so when you show up for your team leadership meeting, you show up as a different person who's in momentum, who has enthusiasm, and then everybody performs a little bit more? You see, these are examples of derivative goals. If you change little micro behaviors, you show up as a different person, and the results in your bank account on the back end will change for the better in a big way. And the third little known way to make a lot more money is to walk with abnormal levels of certainty. Think about this. I call this the Tom Sawyer effect. Tom Sawyer, good guy. But you're like, Josh, I can't walk with certainty. What the heck do I know? I'm just nobody. Or as Myron Golden calls it, you have a case of I'm just me-itis, which he says is an inflammation of the I'm just me gland. It's not a real medical condition, but it's pretty funny. And I see it every day working with small business owners. You need to delete the I'm just me-itis. You need to hit the eject button, Control-Alt-Delete, whatever, make it go away, blow it out of there, because you have so much more power and talent than you think that you do. And if you're a chronic overthinker, like millions of small businesses are, you're going to be crippled. Have you ever noticed that a disproportionate amount of Fortune 500 CEOs and a disproportionate number of politicians are narcissistic holes? The reason that they're so successful at getting into positions of power is because they walk with an abnormal level of certainty. And this really frustrates me and drives me crazy, because average regular people who are good people, who have honor and ethics and integrity, they care about their customers, they care about their team, like for real, like you really do care. People like you finish last because you walk with a low level of certainty, because you're overthinking. Let me ask you this. Have you ever broken down the real meaning of the word confidence? Because we should do that. To the untrained eye, arrogance and confidence seem like they're cousins or they're twin brothers. They're not the same thing at all, but to the untrained eye, they look similar. Arrogance is rooted in a place of insecurity, and it's not that hard to smell true arrogance, but a lot of people are intimidated by anybody that walks with confidence, and confidence is not the same thing as arrogance. The confident person doesn't think he's better than everybody else. The confident person doesn't think more of himself to make himself feel better. He actually thinks more of others and more of himself to make himself feel better. People that walk with a lot of confidence are magnetic. They have this vibe, this charisma, this enthusiastic magnet field around them that sucks in more customers and employees, and it makes everything in their life easier. So back to the word study for the word confidence. If you break apart the word confidence, okay, it's two words. The root word is confide. What does the word confide mean? It means to trust, okay? The word confidence, long story short, means to trust yourself. It means to trust yourself. I got to ask you a question. Do you trust yourself? The answer for most people is no, they don't. And the reason they don't is because they shouldn't trust themselves. Why shouldn't you trust yourself? Because you continuously break promises to yourself. And this isn't the big things. It's not that you don't trust yourself because you didn't make $1 million yet. You don't trust yourself because you said you were going to do that thing on Tuesday and you didn't do the thing. You said you were going to get up a little bit earlier and you didn't get up a little bit earlier. You said you were going to go to bed and limit screen time. You said you were going to take your wife on date night. You said you were going to play baseball with your son and you didn't do it. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. You see, true confidence comes from trusting yourself, and trusting yourself comes from honoring your word to yourself. It's one thing to honor your word to everybody else, but we put ourselves in last place. We honor the word to ourselves last, and it's crushing your ability to make money. You want to know why? Because when you up-level your confidence, you show up in the world as a literal different person with this vibe, this Tom Sawyer effect, this nerdy enthusiasm, right? And it's easier to sell stuff. It's easier to recruit employees. It's easier to lead your team. It's easier to show up for yourself. It's easier to show up at home like the king or queen that you're supposed to be. Those are 3 simple ways to make a lot more money that nobody talks about. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.